Hey, and welcome back to Living Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Oz, Jack later still Lake Jackson, and today we're going to do an air fryer thing, man. It's a beef jerky recipe that I've been wanting to try. I heard about it over on Discord at the Nerd Castle. When, Nerd Princess's Discord, we all go over there and hang out, talk 40K stuff. Because we're a bunch of giant nerds and we like painting stuff. But they were talking about air fryer stuff, or I was bragging about whatever I was cooking here, and they told me about beef jerky stuff, so I'm going to try it. Like, this is going to be hopefully super simple and work out really well. I have a teeny tiny little air fryer, so we're going to do a small batch for the show, but you can do these in bigger batches. Before we get started, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube-y stuff, ring the little bell, get notifications when we put these up on Tuesdays and Fridays, or as relatively close as we can possibly imagine, to Tuesdays and Fridays. Also, there's a link down the doobly-doo for our merch. We got these aprons, we got pot holders, spatulas, flippers, spoons, and fake hands. So, it's a fake hand, so you can reach in and grab stuff. It's so you don't burn yourself, or I don't burn myself, whatever. And let's just get into the food, man. Shameless plug over. Hopefully, it's going to be a short one, I guess. So I'm kind of padding up. Sorry. All right, so you're just going to need some kind of cheap beef and, some marinade, so use what you want. Now, I got this thin, round stuff just because it's super cheap. It's $5 for this big pack, and just some generic teriyaki marinade. Make sure it says marinade. That's it. You can use some thicker steak, you can use some higher class stuff, but this is all for keeping it cheap and keeping it small, keeping it easy. You can make your own marinades, but I'll leave that up to you. Again, so here you go. We got this super thin round steak. It's the cheapest and smaller cuts of the meat ever. Take a knife and you want to trim off the fats, but if you don't want to take a knife and it takes forever and you're worried about wasting stuff, get you some scissors. Don't use your wife's good cloth scissors or your own good cloth scissors. I have good cloth scissors. I don't know why I said that. It's just the cliche. But use a good pair of scissors, but not your ones for your cloth or your paper. Use your good kitchen shears and cut the fat off of this stuff. Now set the fat aside, give it to your dog, mix it into their food. They'll love you forever. But you want to take this down and you're going to cut it into strips. Now it doesn't really matter if you're going with or without the grain, especially on this round steak because it's all just kind of meat. Don't cut it too small because you don't want thin ribbons of it. Now this one's got this weird shape, so I'm going to leave it as big. So once you get everything nice and cut up, I got a small one, so I'm using a little bit. Get you a bowl. I don't know, I got a big bowl because it had a lid. Doesn't have to have a lid. I did it just because I'm worried about other stuff falling into it. Get you your marinade or whatever and get it to where it just barely covers it. Now, the recipe, at least two of the recipes I've seen, said to make sure that when you have it marinated that it's not touching, it's not covering each other, and everything's exposed to the marinade. But I tried this, and I had too much meat for the area, and I didn't want to waste any more marinade by just piling it on top to where it's swimming. So after poking in as much as I could, I just decided, because you're supposed to be in there for 2 to 4 hours or overnight, just every hour or so while you're awake, just take it and shake it around a little bit. Make sure it's not touching anything. Give it a good shake. And you're fine. Just make sure it's all down to the marinade. That way you don't have to worry about spots that miss the marinade or whatever. Now, again, put a lid on it if you have it. You don't have to cover it. Put it in your fridge, 2, 4, or overnight. Overnight is better. Now, once it's been overnight or marinated for so long, take it out and just put it in here. Now, air fryers work because the air needs to get through. So don't want to just completely cover the bottom because you need that air to go through those holes at the bottom. Okay. Again, they said don't let it touch here. I don't know if it stops the drying process or it just gives you a pocket in between the two pieces of meat, but I just try to get them as close as possible without blocking the holes. You can do these in batches. Like I said, mine's teeny tiny, so I just made sure there's a gap in there where the air can circulate. Now, once you get it all set up in there as best you can, don't choke it. Ooh, careful. Go ahead. And you want to put it about 210. Now, mine doesn't have exact numbers, so I had to kind of eyeball it. And then you want to do it for 2 to 3 hours. Mine only does 30 minutes, so for 2 to 3 hours, I'm going to be checking it every 30 minutes, and that works because this meat was so thin that it was done at about an hour and a half. So, we set it in there. After the first hour, I saw how dark it was just because of the teriyaki stuff, so I went ahead and checked it again at about an hour and a half. 3 turns through there, 3 cycles. It was well done. Not well done, it was just done. But this is how dark it is. The teriyaki stuff makes it really dark. You'll notice that a lot of the seasoning and stuff that you put on jerky is what makes it super dark. But this one little batch is great. Great for putting in your pocket, going on like walks or doing whatever. But this is it. Like, this is great for meal prep because it's beef jerky. Like, I don't know how well it'll hold up because it's not salted or beefed. It's just dried. So be sure it's sealed to make sure it's refrigerated when you're not dealing with it. But like I said, put it in a bag, throw it in my pocket, take it with me for the weekend when I go camping or whatever. This is great. It's not a full meal unless you want it to be, unless you just want to sit down and eat it. Now, when it dries out, especially if you're using this cheap round meat that I have, it's going to be stringy and it's going to get caught in your teeth. So be sure to pack a toothpick when you're doing it. But it's well under our budget. It's super cheap, and it's a fun way to use your air fryer for something other than just reheating fries or whatever. Holy crap, it worked. It's air fryer jerky. It's good. I'm going to be eating it. I'm going to make some more. I got a little bit of air fryer. I need to get a bigger one so I can make just a large batch of this and be good for a week or 2 days because I'm a fat guy. Also, got to tell the guys over at Neebs, like, I made it over there. They're all big fans of air fryers and stuff. So, if you do it differently, you want to see us do it differently, let us know. Put it down in the comments. That's what they're there for. You can also find us on social media. We're at Facebook, Pinterest, Patreon. We're at all those at Living Between Paychecks Kitchen. You can also find us on Instagram at Living Between. I had to shorten it down over there. You can also find me, Osway Nerdy, on all of those, as well as Twitter and TikTok. And I will see y'all next time. I'm going to go eat and probably make some more jerky. I don't think this is going to make it to tomorrow. I'm going to eat it all.